Good morning, guys. It's Monday, and I'm feeling like we just need to read. So I'm going to read to you from Ivan. Just need to sit back, listen, wonder, question, think about our characters, and enjoy. Okay, here we go. If you remember yesterday, Ivan was helping Ruby fall asleep and telling her a story about when he was taken from the jungle with his sister. And then he also reminded her of the promise that he made to Stella about about getting Ruby a better life than he had, or that she had, I'm sorry. Remembering. Bob and Ruby sleep on. I don't sleep. I think about the promise I made to Stella and the pictures I've made for Ruby, and I remember. I remember it all. What they did. We were clinging to our mother, my sister and I, when the humans killed her. They shot my father next. They chopped off their hands, their feet, and their heads. Something else to buy. There is a cluttered, musty store near my cage. They sell an ashtray here. It's made from the hand of a gorilla. There are things in the world. My son just walked in. He's like, "What are you reading to your second graders?" There are things and people in the world called poachers. Poachers are guys who are, and girls I'm sure too, but mostly men, who go and kill wild animals, and then they take parts from the wild animal and they sell them on a place called the black market. So you're really not supposed to buy them, but they sell them and they make a lot of money, and unfortunately it's a very sad thing. It has gotten better. It's not as much as it used to be. However, that's what Ivan is talking about here. So they would chop off gorilla hands and make them into ashtrays. It's a very sad thing. That called poacher, not good guys. Another Ivan. When morning comes and the parking lot glimmers with dew, I see the billboard on the highway. There I am, the one and only Ivan, bathed in the pink light of dawn. I look so angry with my furrowed brow and clenched fists. I look the way my father did, the day the men came. I am, I suppose, a peaceful sort. Mostly, I watch the world go by and think about naps and bananas and yogurt raisins. But inside me, hidden, is another Ivan. He could tear a grown man's limbs from his body. In the flicker of time it takes a snake's tongue to taste the air. He could taste revenge. He is the Ivan on the billboard. I stare at the one and only Ivan, at the faded picture of Stella, and I remember George and Mac on their ladders, adding the picture of Ruby to bring new visitors to the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. I remember the story that Ruby told, the one where villagers came to her rescue. I hear Stella's kind, wise voice. Humans can surprise you sometimes. I look at my fingers coated in red paint, the color of blood, and I know how to keep my promise. Days. During the days I wait. During the nights I paint. I worry when Mac takes Ruby into the ring. He carries the claw stick with him all the time now. He doesn't use it. He doesn't have to. Ruby isn't fighting back anymore. She does whatever Mac asks. Nights. I close my eyes. I dip my finger into the paint. When I'm done with one piece of paper, I set it aside to dry. It's so small, just one sheet, and I'm going to need so many. I move on to the next, and the next, and the next. It's a giant puzzle, and I'm making the pieces one by one. By morning, my floor is covered with paintings. I hide the paintings under my pool of dirty water before Matt can see them. I don't want them to end up in the gift store, selling for $20 a piece, $25 with a frame. The paintings are for Ruby, every one of them. Project. Ivan, Ruby asks one morning when I am trying to nap, why are you always so sleepy during the day? I've been working on a project all night, I tell her. What's a project? It's a thing, a painting. It's a painting for you, actually, I answer. Ruby looks pleased. Can I see it? Not yet. Ruby pokes with annoyance at her roped foot. She takes a breath. Ivan, do I have to do the shows with Mac today? I'm afraid so. Sorry, Ruby. Ruby dips her trunk into her water bucket. That's okay, she says. I already knew the answer. Not right. It's night again and everyone is asleep. I look at the picture I've just made, one of dozens. It's smudged and torn, a muddy blur. I place it beside the others lining my floor. The colors are wrong, the shapes are off. It looks like nothing. It's not what I'm trying to create. It's not what I'm meant to be. It's not right, and I don't know why. Across the parking lot, the billboard beckons, as it always does. Come to the Exit 8, Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan, Mighty Silverback. If I could use human words to say what I need to say, this would all be so easy. Instead, I have my pots of paint and my ragged pages. I sigh. My fingertips glow like jungle flowers. I try again. Going nowhere. I watch Ruby plod around the ring in endless circles, going nowhere. More visitors have been coming, but not many. Max says Ruby's not picking up the slack after all. He says he's cutting back on our food. He says he's turning off the heat at night to save money. Ruby looks thinner to me, more wrinkled than Stella ever was. Do you think Ruby's eating enough? I ask Bob. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, though. You're sure as heck painting enough. Bob wrinkles his nose. The stench is unbelievable. And I found yellow paint in my tail this morning. Bob isn't happy about my night painting. He says it's unnatural. Now, while I work on my art, Bob sleeps on Not Tag. He claims that he prefers her because she doesn't snore. He says her belly doesn't rise and fall and make him seasick. What is this plan of yours anyway? Bob asks. If you explain it to me, I could help out. He gnaws at his tail. Maybe I could come up with something that doesn't involve, paint. I can't explain it, I tell him. It's an idea in my head, but I can't get it right. And anyway, I'm almost out of supplies. I should have known I wouldn't have enough. I kick at my tire swing. It's spattered with drops of blue paint. It's a stupid idea. I doubt that, Bob says. Smelly? Yes. Stupid? Never. Bad guys. Most of the day I doze. Late in the afternoon, Mac approaches. Bob slips under Not Tag. He prefers to keep a low profile around Mac. Mac's gaze falls on my pool. A corner of one of my paintings is visible. What's that, big guy? He asks. I calmly eat an orange, ignoring him, but my heart is racing. Mac kicks at my plastic pool. Underneath it are all the paintings. Mac yanks at a piece of paper. It slips out easily, and he doesn't seem to notice the other paintings. The page is striped with green, which is what happens when blue and yellow paint go together. It's supposed to be a patch of grass. Not bad. Where'd you get the paint anyway? George's kid? He considers. I bet I can get 30 for this picture, maybe even 40. Mac turns on my TV. It's a Western. There's a human with a big hat and a small gun. He has a shiny star pinned to his chest. That means he's the sheriff, and he will be getting rid of the bad guys. If it sells quickly, I'm getting you some more of that paint, buddy, Mac says. He walks away with my painting, Ruby's painting. For a moment, I imagine what it would feel like to be the sheriff. Ad. Good news, huh? Bob says when Mac's out of earshot. Looks like you might be getting some more supplies. I don't want to paint for Mac, I say. I'm painting for Ruby. You can do both, Bob says. You're an artist after all. While I watch the movie, I try to come up with a new hiding place for my paintings. Maybe, I think, I could fold them once they're dry and stuff them into Not Tag. It's a long movie. At the end, the sheriff marries the woman who owns the saloon, which is a watering hole for humans, but not horses. It's been a long time since I've seen a Western that was also a romance. I liked that movie, I say to Bob. Too many horses, not enough dogs, Bob comments, and the ad comes on. I don't understand ads. They're not like Westerns, where you know who the bad guy is supposed to be. They're hardly ever romantic, unless the man and the woman are brushing their teeth before they face lick. I watched an ad for underarm deodorant. How do you know who's who if they don't smell? I ask Bob. Humans reek, Bob replies. They just don't notice because they have incompetent, not very good noses. Another ad comes on. I see children and their parents buying tickets, just like the tickets Max sell. They laugh, enjoy their ice cream cones as they walk down a path. They pause to watch two sleepy-eyed cats, huge, striped, dozing in the grass. Tigers, I know, because I saw them on another nature show. Words flash on the screen, accompanied by drawings of a red giraffe. The giraffe vanishes, and I see a human family staring at another kind of family, elephants. Old and young, they're surrounded by rocks and trees and grass and room to wander. It's a wild cage. It's a zoo. I see where it begins and where it ends. The wall that says you are this and we are that, and that's how it will always be. It's not a perfect place. Even in just a few fleeting seconds on my TV screen, I can see that. A perfect place would not need walls. But it's the place I need. I gaze at the elephants. I look over at Ruby, small and alone. Before the ad ends, I try to remember every last detail. Rocks, trees, tails, trunks. It's the picture I need to paint. Okay, that's it for today, guys.